I should probably pay more attention instead of just watching somebody else score a goal, which ended up me taking a spill here right on my left knee, which is injured. But luckily, I was using the Hyperlite shin pads, and I gotta say, guys, I'm pretty impressed. Perfect blend of protection, mobility, and size. So luckily, my knee's okay. I will tell you, taking a spill on your knees with rheumatoid arthritis is not fun, but that's why it's important to have some shin guards that work for your body type, protect you, and do actually their job when hitting the ice, because it is going to happen. So today we are going to review the Hyperlite shin guards, and this is going to be on top of a bunch of reviews that I'm going to release that I'm just going to call snapshot quick reviews. Try and keep these to 5 or 6 minutes and just go over what I like or dislike about the gear, because I've got tons of stuff to review. And honestly, this is going to be people only looking for shin guards, so I'm not expecting massive views on these videos. It's more just to help anybody out that happens to be interested in the Hyperlite shin guard. So quick snapshot review coming up. The strapping system here, guys, is just one of the best, I think, on current shin pads, because it has the two anchor straps that go into one and just give you that wrap that's better. I found on the AS5, which was just like a recent release, just the single one that goes around is just not good enough for holding the rotation. So the strapping system is one of the best parts of the Hyperlite. Okay, so the strapping system on the Hyperlite, which I prefer over the AS5, which I just recently did a review on, is because of the anchor here with the 2 points. It's just so much better. And then we've got this stretchy protective band here with actual like comfort edge that goes around. So there's actually some tension that you can get from this and some tension from this. But with the anchor points here is you just get so much better of a wrap on the Hyperlite than you do with the AS5. The AS5, this just moves too much because there's not enough there. So in comparison, the Hyperlite is just a better strapping system. And I feel like with the actual tension that you have from the two and the actual two different anchor points wrapping around, this is a far superior strapping system and keeps it in place and doesn't move it around. When I got hit with the AS5, it knocked it out of place. Whereas when I dropped on earlier on the video with this, stayed perfectly tight to my knee, didn't move at all. I like how these are better just tongue in shin pads because they are not massively big, and near the ankle there isn't a huge piece of material sticking out like the AS5 had. So it's definitely good for anybody who's running tongues in because it's just very much more streamlined. After falling numerous times in that game for some reason, I was still getting used to my new skates, I think. Also just not paying attention, whatever. The protection on the Hyperlite is far and above that of the 2X Pro, which was my shin guard for literally a year and a half or something. So the new Hyperlite takes that 2X Pro, keeps the mobility, keeps the strapping system, but actually adds a little bit more protection, just enough to actually be a little bit more comfortable on the ice. Because the 2X Pro, although it was great, was very mobile, it wasn't the best protection out there. So Hyperlite, nice job, much better protection. All right, let's just check and see how the ice is going. Probably have a few minutes until puck drop, and I just realized I forgot to put on socks. The Hyperlite shins really allow me to be mobile. It's kind of part of my game is, agility, getting to the puck quickly, getting around defenders with some jukes, things like that. And the Hyperlites just allow me to do that. So in terms of the vapor protective line, the Hyperlite is kind of the highlight of everything. You wouldn't be able to get this mobile with the AS5s unless you're a bigger guy or you're blocking shots, etc. So final thoughts here coming up with the Hyperlite shin. So as we summarize what I like about the Hyperlites, you can see a lot of the difference with the AS5 with this giant freaking flange here compared to the small flange on the Hyperlite. Same with the small flange here on the Hyperlite, whereas you got this massive wing thing here on the AS5. And at the end of the day, these shin pads are completely different styles and different styles of player. You know, you got a defensive, large type player, blocking shots, needing a ton of protection, is not very mobile. And then with the Hyperlite, you have mobility, you have decent protection, you have a streamlined, decent strapping that keeps it in place and allows you to make crossovers, different moves, etc., where you're actually going to use this as a streamlined forward that actually, you know, moves with the puck, moves around guys, defenders, etc. So you have two different types of shin guards here, guys. That's exactly what the Hyperlite is for. You got that awesome strapping system, great comfort. I love it. It's a streamlined, it works for my game, and that's just how it is. If that sounds like you, the Hyperlite would work. If you're more the defensive guy that needs to block shots and needs a ton of protection and isn't crazy mobile, then the AS5 is for you. Thanks for watching, guys. Beer League Bum Hockey Reviews. See you next time.